President Obama warns Libyan leaders that the U.S. and NATO allies are still considering military options in response to the violence caused by Qaddafi supporters. What impact could the president's threats have on the United States, on Libya, and on the rest of the Middle East? Joining us now, Michael Scheuer, former CIA counterterrorism analyst and the author of the best book on Osama bin Laden you'll ever read, simply titled Osama bin Laden. Michael, welcome to the Glenn Beck program.
Thank you, Judge.
How much of a threat is Muammar Gaddafi to the United States of America at the present time?
Zero, sir.
And what would be the basis, moral, political, economic, or military, for the American president to threaten military action against him?
Arrogance and racism is the answer. Every time Obama opens his mouth, he sounds like a combination of Kipling and Woodrow Wilson. He's going to teach our little brown brothers how to vote and how to elect people. He's really a tragedy for America. He's going to get more of our kids killed in wars that we can't get out of once we start.
Here's what I found a little baffling, Michael. Over the weekend, Secretary of Defense Gates said, and I'm paraphrasing, words to the effect of any president that sends American troops into a land war in Asia, excuse me, any Secretary of Defense who does this ought to have his head examined. Earlier last week, he said, you know what, a no-fly zone is not easy to accomplish. First, we have to destroy their anti-aircraft weaponry on the ground. Then we have to destroy their planes on the ground. Then we have to destroy their planes in the air. Then we have to monitor a land space about twice the size of Texas. Does the President of the United States know what he's getting us involved in if he threatens military action over there?
I don't think so, sir. He's more concerned with his view, as most of our presidents have been in the last 20 years, in the world's view of him. He wants to be a good guy. He defines the worth of Americans by what they do overseas, instead of looking to fix the problem of 20% of our children going to bed hungry every night. He wants to go to war in North Africa, which would really start a religious war across that whole region.
Now, you spent the bulk of your career in the CIA, and you know how intelligence works. Would the president even be aware of what's going on the ground? Would he know, for example, when he makes a statement like that, whether the rebels are likely to succeed, whether the rebels have their backs to the wall, how the rebels would even react if they knew that the people knew that the United States of America wanted Gaddafi out? Stated differently, Michael Scheuer, wouldn't the threat of the President of the United States against Gaddafi actually coalesce Libyans to support him, because they probably hate Americans more than they hate Gaddafi?
Judge, it certainly, whether or not they would support Gaddafi, the focus of the war of both Libyan forces and their opponents would turn on the United States forces and British forces that went in there. We would be the infidels, we would be the occupiers, and we would certainly create a situation that would not be unlike Iraq and Afghanistan. And the president, of course, won't have the will to use the military power that the American people have paid for. The best bet here is for the Congress to pass a resolution that there will be no military action at all unless there's a declaration of war.
Which, you know, there probably would never be. This guy Gaddafi is an interesting character. In 1986, he was an enemy. In 2003, he was a friend. I mean, does the government just decide who its enemies are and who its friends are depending upon the moment? As far as I know, he has never been a threat to the United States of America. Look, he may have ordered that plane shot down and he may have killed individual Americans. That's another issue for another time. But how does the government decide who are its enemies and who are its friends?
They're desperate for oil, Judge, so they don't have to drill in the United States and they don't have to exploit our own resources. And so Gaddafi became a good guy. We were just about to sell him several hundred refurbished armor personnel carriers before this whole business blew up. He was our boy, just like Mubarak.
Wow. Is he any more of an enemy of the United States today than he was 2 months ago?
He's not an enemy, sir. The idea that he can somehow threaten the United States is absolutely insane. What the president is concerned about is the human rights mafia ganging up on him and saying you have to rescue these poor Libyan rebels, when the reality is if every one of Gaddafi's Libyans killed every one of the rebel Libyans or vice versa, it wouldn't make a lick of difference to life in the United States.
Got it. Michael Scheuer, thanks for your thoughts. Thanks for sharing them with us.
Yes, sir.